When it comes to tracking macronutrients, it can be really difficult to go from not tracking food at all to tracking grams of protein, carbs, and fats, one ratio, and then, one day, and then a whole different ratio for another day. That's like 0 to 100 real quick. So there are a few different things that, or a few different stepping stones that you guys can use in order to get to that advanced stage so you can further progress your fitness and your health. Alright guys, the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because people usually have, and this is myself included, have a lot of trouble getting consistent with macronutrient intake. And consistency is going to be one of the most important things when it comes to achieving any sort of health and fitness goal. The more consistent that you are, the more you'll know about what to tweak and when to tweak it in order to get to your goals. If you're not consistent with tracking anything, you're not going to have any idea where you're at, what you need to change, what you need to keep doing, so on and so forth. So that consistency is going to be key. But when it comes to tracking macronutrients, it can be really difficult to go from not tracking food at all to tracking grams of protein, carbs, and fats, one ratio, and then, one day, and then a whole different ratio for another day. That's like 0 to 100 real quick. So there are a few different things that, or a few different stepping stones that you guys can use in order to get to that advanced stage so you can further progress your fitness and your health. So that first one, you guys, is just going to be having some sort of protein goal with a calorie range. This is where I like to start a lot of people off when they're coaching with me if they have a little bit trouble getting consistent right at the beginning. So we start with a protein goal, and then we have a calorie range. So for example, 100 grams of protein, anywhere from 1,800 to 2,000 calories. That's just a rough example off the top of my head. So your goal for a couple of weeks would be to hit 100 grams of protein every single day and then be within 1,800 to 2,000 calories in a day. So that would be your first goal. Once you get really consistent with that, and doing that every single day doesn't take much effort or much thought or preparation, then it's time to advance to the next stage. That next stage can be having a protein goal, just like we did before, but this time we have an exact calorie number. So that could be 100 grams of protein and 1,900 calories in a day. So hitting 100 grams of protein, 1,900 calories in a day, the remainder being from your carbs and fats, getting consistent with that every single day. Once again, once it comes across without much effort, it comes easy to you, you can move on to the third stage. That third stage would be a complete macronutrient ratio. You're hitting a certain amount of grams of protein, grams of carbs, grams of fat every single day. So 100 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fat, for example. You begin getting consistent with that. You have your prepared meals if you like to go that route. If you're advanced and you can do it with random meals, good for you. Preparation is always key. That's always going to help. So having those prepared meals in order to hit those numbers is going to help a ton. So point is, you get consistent with that over time. And when that becomes easier, without a lot of effort, you're hitting protein, carbs, and fats easily. You know how to go out to restaurants and adjust foods in order to hit those goals. You know what to eat at home in order to get those goals without, sitting there thinking about it for 5 to 10 minutes. Then you can go on to the more advanced stage where you're undulating your calories. So that's going to be eating a certain amount of macronutrients or calories on one day, and then eating a different amount on another day. So a good example of this would be training day and rest day macronutrients. Do you have to eat more on the days that you're training and less on the days that you're resting? No, you don't have to, but this is just an example, just for the sake of the conversation in the video. So on a training day, you might be eating more calories if you are trying to let's say you're trying to build muscle. You might be in a little bit of a surplus. So let's say you're that same person. You're gonna eat 100 grams of protein, let's say 220 grams of carbs, and then 60 grams of fat on training days. And then on those rest days, you're gonna eat a little bit less in order to prioritize fat loss. So on those training days, you're eating a little bit more to prioritize that muscle building, or at least maintain that lean muscle that you've worked hard for, and then a little bit less on the rest days in order to facilitate that fat loss, where you might be eating, same amount of protein, fewer carbs, and same amount of fat, if not a little bit higher. So those are kind of the 4 stages that you might want to work through, the 4 stepping stones, in order to get really consistent with undulating your macronutrients. If it's a struggle for you, start at the beginning. So a quick recap, guys. If you're struggling to build consistency, just start at the beginning. That first step is going to be having a protein goal with a calorie range. So 100 grams of protein, 1,800 to 2,000 calories in a day. Once you're consistent, and that's easy, go on to number 2. Number 2 is going to be that protein goal with an exact calorie number, the remaining of those calories coming from grams of carbs and grams of fat, but you're not quite tracking those yet. Then that third goal is going to be a set amount of protein, carbs, and fats equaling your calorie goal for the day. Once you're really consistent with that, then you can advance a little bit and do some undulating, kind of tweak your carbs, tweak your fats, tweak your calories, whatever you need to do. So you would have a set amount of calories that you're eating one day, set amount of macros that you're eating one day, and then a whole nother ratio for another day in order to prioritize holding on to, if not building lean muscle tissue, and then facilitating that fat loss as well. So if you're struggling, guys, just take it back a step, make it a little bit simpler, and build some consistency with that. And tracking macronutrients, or at least knowing where to go, can be difficult at times for sure. There's all sorts of things that come into play, like your current physical activity, your history, what you're currently eating, hormones, body type, and things like that. So if you would like to have yourself coached in this realm of your health and wellness, go ahead and send me an email. Go ahead and visit the site, PoehlmannFitness.com. Check out the services, check out coaching, fill out an application there, and I'd be happy to talk to you and help you with that. Other than that, don't forget I'm on Facebook. Go ahead and like the Poehlmann Fitness Facebook page. A lot of giveaways going on there. And then go ahead and, if you're not already, follow me on Instagram, Adam_Poehlmann Fit.